Well, well, if it isn't Captain Pecan, or is it Captain Sedgwick? According to Starfleet, you have caused a lot of trouble since you stole our medicine and left entire families to die a year ago.
That wasn't me. That was my evil twin brother, Daryl.
The Vulcan ship has warped back toward the planet Vulcan.
Max warp. Catch him and block his path. We can't let him tell Bicheyev that we're going to Earth. He'll ruin everything. And until we catch him, I present to Noah in the next episode, Coming of Age. For the second time, we don't start with the captain's exposition. Instead, Wesley chases a boy named Jake down the decks to apologize for something Jake says isn't Wesley's fault. Wesley has already aged from 10 to 15. Too bad he'll stay looking like a 15-year-old boy even into his 50s. Apparently Wes gets to go somewhere that Jakey missed out on by 32 points, or something. Jake, at all times, looks like someone pulled a gun on him. Great acting. Okay, now the captain drops his log. They're at Relva 7 for Wes to take entrance exams for Starfleet Academy. Why doesn't this happen back on Earth? Who knows? By some coincidence, orchestrated I'm sure, Picard's old chum, Admiral Gregory Quinn, is there also and wants to beam up. Immediately. A little sus, but moving on. Wes is beamed away, and the Admiral and entourage are beamed aboard right after. Perfectly timed for episode flow. Would have been all awkward if he beamed over 5 seconds earlier and the first thing he saw was everybody hugging. The Admiral's +1 is Lieutenant Commander Dexter Rimmick, and god damn does he just have a punchable face. They want to talk to Picard alone, and are dismissively insistent about it. So in Picard's ready room, Quinn lays it out. Rimmick is with the Inspector General, and he's to conduct a full investigation of the Enterprise. Quinn won't tell Picard what's up, or what they're looking for, but demands Rimmick find what's wrong on this ship. Rimmick acts all hard, but Picard is really ruffled by the disrespect. He's known Quinn for years, and this is toe-stepping at the very least. Down on the planet, Wes meets human female Oleana Marin, Vulcan broad Tashanik, and Mordok, the Benzite, who are all the other finalists to the Academy. Apparently they're in competition with each other for the spots, so it's less like college admittance and more like a game show challenge. The officer in charge of the test, Lieutenant Chang, enters telling them there is indeed one spot available, and this seems like a ridiculous recruiting practice, but whatever. Oh, and he tells them to expect the unexpected at all times. Back on the bridge, Rimmick plays his Game Boy while being a dick to everyone. He demands Riker for questioning, and Riker blows him off. The egos clash, and sizes are measured, but Riker stands firm. He'll answer Rimmick's questions when it doesn't interfere with his duties. And Rimmick looks all butthurt. Back down on the planet, Wesley is shown to be the quickest of the accurate testers in the standardized format, with Oleana not even answering in time. She does call Wes cute though, igniting his puberty functions. But really it was a backhanded joke for the audience by her calling him obnoxious. It's by now you may notice a different feel to this episode than the ones before it. It's almost indescribable, but definitely palpable. Everything gels a lot more. For example, the music feels made for this show, and not stock 80s telly music. The story, and the audience winks. Something about the show seems maturing from where it started, into something that nails what it's trying to execute. Back on the bridge, Rimmick gets Riker in the ready room, but Riker is still testy, refusing to sit in defiance. Not to be outcocked, Rimmick informs Riker the inquiry could take a while. So Riker sits in the most awkward way I've ever seen a human being sit down, and I grew up in the 90s. He hikes a leg, and Pogo hurdles the chair from behind in a move that I'm sure he thought looked way cooler, and I promise requires way more effort than sitting normally. Definitely calling that the Riker maneuver. Rimmick asks Riker if Picard has ever faked a log. Riker gets indignant and demands any questions about Picard be asked to Picard. But that's not how investigations work, bro. Rimmick is rightfully annoyed this time. There's several discrepancies in the captain's log, and Riker is being uncompliant. Down in engineering, and whatever happened to Beardy McBeardo and all the other engineers? Why is the blind helmsman down here running shit randomly, and in the wrong colors? Also, anyone else ever think about how this guy started the show as the blind driver? I digress. Rimmick asks Geordi, Troy, and others questions about Picard's decisions on past missions, which again I believe was a cheeky nod to fan mail complaints. But he's aggressive and manipulative in his efforts and optics. Meanwhile, Worf finds Wesley in the holodeck and gives him a pep talk for the psych eval part of the tests. And we get a little development from both characters here. Again, it's feeling like a completely different show. Remember Jake from State Farm? He's not in this, but Jake from the beginning just stole a shuttlecraft. And welcome to the club, kid. Join up with me and we'll be space pirates. The kid can't face his father for the shame of missing out on an exam he'd have had 20% chance of winning on blind odds. So of course he stole the shuttle to go sign onto a freighter leaving the planet. Never mind, kid. I don't want you in my fleet. Moron. The very next thing he does is somehow and immediately unbalance the dilithium reaction of his shuttle. And I thought I was an idiot. I spent 3 months thinking dilithium crystal was a drug and I still didn't do that. Somehow this nitwit lost all power but maneuvering jets and is going to burn up in the atmosphere in 78 seconds. The kid is too far for tractor beams, even though they can micro-warp over all of the Picard maneuver that doesn't involve a shirt tuck. And apparently the kid's also somehow out of transporter range, even though they beam Wesley back and forth from the planet's surface. It's all some lazy writing bullshit. Rimmick slaps his dick around some more, for no reason, by sternly reminding Picard in front of everyone that he's responsible for the boy's life. Like they didn't know that and weren't already focused on doing everything they could for him. Some more bullshit, but it gives us Picard finally standing up to the guy. Picard directs the kid to maneuver the craft to skip off of the atmosphere and saves the brat's life. Even Rimmick cheers and bestows adulation in the form of ecstatic disbelief. But then he goes right back to being a dick. Back down on the planet, Wes and Murdoch are in a hallway when some Fed bumps into Wesley and goes off on the kid. Wesley's apologies only incense the man further, so Wes gets firm and tells him to back down, even threatening violence, which causes the alien to acquiesce. Apparently Wes caught the webbed hand of the alien called a Zoldan. Not Zoltan.
Zoltan!
Zoldans are infuriated by courtesy, as they see it as a phony social behavior. And again, Wes is outperforming everyone, as Murdoch had to have all of this explained to him. There, we're ahead of him, blocking his path. Fire a phaser blast across his hull as a warning shot.
You are being hailed.
Yeah, that's what I thought. On screen.
If you threaten us with violence again, we will be forced to destroy your small shuttlecraft.
Nice bluff, you pointy-eared bastard. But we both know your logical ass scanned my ship as soon as you first saw me again. And we both know that I've upgraded beyond your ability to survive an encounter with my small shuttlecraft.
What is it precisely that you want?
I just need to keep you hostage for a few episodes.
He warped away again.
Yeah, I know. After him. Back on the Enterprise, Data tells Rimmick that there's nothing wrong with Picard or the ship, and therefore the error must lie in the inquiry and its assumptions. And when interviewing Worf, Rimmick suggests Worf doesn't like him, to which Worf responds, "Is it required, sir?" Rimmick then tries to get his win back by bluntly asking Crusher how she feels working under the man that got her husband killed. And she chuckles, as if to say, this fucking guy. Better than saying, I'm glad my hubby's dead because I'm trying to climb the captain's log, baby. Then we see Picard getting grilled over breaking the Prime Directive with the Edo. Yeah, you tell him. Next time, let Wesley die. Picard storms to Quinn and demands to know what's going on and what he's accused of. And Quinn calls Rimmick in. In the meantime, Wesley helps Murdoch on the test. And because of this, Murdoch goes from failing to setting the second fastest completion time on that exam. Back with Quinn, Rimmick says he could find nothing wrong with the ship, its captain, or its crew. Before leaving, he says his term with the IG department is up in 6 months, and when it is, he'd like to serve aboard the Enterprise. It's kind of touching, and maybe we'll see him again, but Picard's face says he's burned that bridge by being an asshole. Quinn says something, or someone vague, is doing something vague to somehow undermine the Federation. Or something. He's not specific and won't give details or evidence, but he needs people he can trust to root out the threat. He wants to promote Picard to Admiral and appoint him the Commandant of Starfleet Academy. Picard lies about not being good at politics, and Quinn says, just let me know. Back down with Wes, Murdoch comes out of his psych test holding his hand and looking shook. When asked if he's okay, Murdoch responds, I will be. What a bitch. Wes enters for his turn, and in the room is just a chair for him to wait in. After a while, he hears an explosion and goes back out into the hall. After more explosions and screams, he runs to the environmental lab to find everything gone to shit. Fog machine, sparks, disaster props, and a dude on the floor screaming. Wes saves the old guy on the floor, but not the coward clutching the wall before the doors seal. Outside, Chang tells Wesley good job. He didn't cower, or cry, or need therapy after. He jumped in and made life and death choices and saved a life at risk of his own. He's definitely losing to Mordock somehow. Terrible writing cliche, build him up and make him lose just to swerve us. And also because he's a main character and they don't love us enough to get rid of him. This shot of the reflection of Riker talking to Picard about everything is amazing. Anyway, Chang indeed says Mordock somehow scored higher than Wesley, even though Wes won almost everything and helped everyone and was way more mature and willing to jump to concise action. Oleana tells Wes to be ready next year, because she won't be easy to beat, then gives a terrible handshake. But, really? One entrant a year? How the fuck is that sustainable? Back with Picard again, and he's wearing a dress. He talks to Jake, then to Wesley, who whinges like an emo over failing. Picard says stiff upper lip. Even I failed the first time. Don't tell anyone. Picard then sees Quinn off, denying his offer for a promotion and reassignment. We see Wesley at the helm, a dude in a dress in the back, and no Geordi, because I guess he just said fuck it, I'm an engineer now. Set warp for credits. Engage. I really like this episode actually. There's definitely some odd bullshit here and there, but more flesh on the bones than ever, and it's all starting to fit together better too. The story was also a lot less silly than normal. Real time. Coming of Age, first airing on March 14th, 1988, stands out not only for its narrative and thematic depth, but also for the significant behind-the-scenes efforts that brought it to life. The episode explores themes of personal growth, the pressures of proving oneself, and the scrutiny faced by those in positions of authority. Wesley's storyline emphasizes the trials of adolescence, the desire for acceptance, and the fear of failure. Meanwhile, Captain Picard's leadership is put under a microscope, introducing a sense of unease and paranoia, suggesting that there may be a larger conspiracy within Starfleet, a plot thread that would be revisited in future episodes. Stewart's portrayal of Picard is typically stoic and commanding, but Coming of Age allows glimpses of vulnerability as his leadership is questioned. Wheaton captures the anxieties and determination of a teenager striving to meet high expectations. Ward Costello, as Admiral Gregory Quinn, brings life to a character torn between his duty to Starfleet and his respect for Picard, while Robert Shankon's Remick is played with a mix of officiousness and suspicion, making him a credible threat to Picard's command. Director Mike Vayar, known for his work on various science fiction series, had a keen eye for balancing the episode's dual storylines. Writer Sandy Fries highlights the pressures faced by both the young and the experienced within the Federation. Hannah Louise Shear punched up the final draft. The Starfleet Academy testing environment was designed to be minimalistic yet sleek for the futuristic and high-tech feel of Starfleet. One of the significant challenges faced during the production was creating the visual effects for Wesley's psych test, which involved a simulated emergency scenario. Achieving a realistic, intense atmosphere required careful coordination between the actors, director, stunt team, safety team, and special effects team. The episode provided an opportunity for deeper character development, allowing viewers to see Wesley not just as a prodigious teenager, but as a character facing real and relatable struggles. For Picard, the scrutiny of his command added layers to his character, setting the stage for future challenges to his leadership and the integrity of Starfleet. The episode's score, composed by Ron Jones, effectively underscores the tension and emotional beats of the narrative, and for the first time, felt like a solid meshed score for this particular show. Coming of Age's exploration of themes like personal growth, the burden of expectations, and institutional scrutiny resonates with audiences, contributing to its lasting impact. The seeds planted in this episode regarding Starfleet's internal issues and Wesley's journey would be revisited in later episodes, most notably in the two-part conspiracy arc and Wesley's continued development as he eventually joins Starfleet Academy. While the first season of TNG had its share of ups and downs, Coming of Age is often cited as one of the stronger episodes. Critics and fans appreciated the episode's balanced storytelling and the deeper insights it provided into key characters, its rich narrative, strong performances, and glimpse into the complex world of Starfleet, a la Academy exams. Starting with this episode, Maurice Hurley took over as showrunner. Hurley was concerned that the show's writing process had stalled under Roddenberry, and he personally paid for Roddenberry and his wife to go on vacation, on the understanding that Hurley would take over while they were gone. Upon his eventual return, Roddenberry just opted to leave Hurley in charge of the writing staff. Thank God. A deleted scene showed Wesley and the bridge crew celebrating his 16th birthday. The script named the location of the scene as Deck 21 Forward Lounge, which was probably an early predecessor of the 10 Forward Lounge. Coming of Age also featured several firsts for the next generation, including the first appearance of a shuttlecraft and the first appearance of a Vulcan in a speaking role. Alright, screw stopping him. Computer, lock target on the Vulcan ship and fire a spread of photon torpedoes. Blast that rat from the sky before he squeals. That killed him, right? Yeah, he's probably dead. Oh, you're gonna make my lazy ass go down there to make sure, huh? God damn, I hate this motherfucker.